Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Kevbot, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Beadle Grimm DM Vault Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse box set. I'm super excited for this. I ordered it a couple weekends ago at GameCon Canada. I thought it would be at least a month before it came in, but it actually got shipped to me in about a week and a half, so that was awesome. I'm really excited to get into it. I love Planescape, I love Beadle Grimm. This will be a little bit of an unboxing, a little bit of a review to show you what's in it, and to give you an idea about whether a product like this might be right for you. There's a lot to get into, so let's get started. Now, interestingly, the Planescape box set from Beadle Grimm is actually roughly the same size as my second edition Planescape box set. Obviously, I don't think this was intentional. I just thought it was kind of a neat note. And just as I was excited to get into this for the first time, I am very excited to get into this tin for the first time. So opening it up, the first thing that we see in here is a little bit of an introductory letter. It's got a note here from Bill, Charlie, John, Matt, and Paul, all from Beadle Grimm. And it's kind of funny. It almost comes across as apologetic. They go on about how they didn't get a chance to play Planescape when it first came out, but they really got engaged in it and how much they love it right now and how much effort went into this box set. So I thought that was kind of funny. And it just kind of goes into what's in this box set. Poster maps, battle maps, in-world handouts, Dungeon Master and player aids, artifacts, encounter cards, and a bonus encounter. So just a little introduction into the Planescape box set. The next thing that we see is the kind of folio here. So this folio has a lot of the player handouts in them. You can kind of go over them one by one. Now, these player handouts are designed for the adventure Turn of Fortune's Wheel in mind, but I feel like a lot of them could be used for any homebrew adventure that might take place in Sigil or Planescape. I know in my current homebrew campaign, the characters, for various reasons, end up in Sigil, and I can already think of some ways that some of this stuff might be useful. First one being this kind of guide to Sigil, the City of Doors, this trifold brochure pamphlet. I feel like something like this would be awesome to give out to player characters. There is a field reportings notebook, so some tracker information that they have here. This one might be a little bit more specific for Turn of Fortune's Wheel. It is a memory tracker, but again, something like this, depending on your campaign, there might be lots of uses. And there are several copies here. There are 5 copies, so you could give out one to each of your players. Here we have a Deed of Unbridled Planetary Conquest. It's really hard. I don't know if it comes across very well on the video, but the paper quality that this stuff is made out of is really, really, really nice. You might look at something like this and think, oh, I could just print it off on my own printer paper, but this almost has like a parchment feel to it. Same thing here. Again, all of these handouts, we've got a really nice invitation here. Again, this is specific for Turn of Fortune's Wheel, but just very high quality paper this is all printed on. And then, of course, death certificates. This, again, is something that I feel like could come up in any adventure that takes place in Sigil. And there are lots of death certificates here. It looks like there's maybe 10 or so. So this could be really fun if you have a player character die in Sigil to give to one of them as a little token, again, even for your own homebrew campaign. And we've got some beautiful art pieces here. Again, these are all art pieces from the adventure Turn of Fortune's Wheel, but some things that, depending on if you were to adapt elements into your own homebrew campaign, just like as an example, here we have artwork of the city streets of Sigil. So for my players, I could use this to show them kind of what the city streets look like, even though they're not tied to the adventure. And then here we have some artwork of the spire with Sigil at the very top and some of the outlands. Again, very useful art for even if you weren't running the adventure, things that you could incorporate into your own homebrew campaign setting. And then we also have some smaller maps. These ones are all on just regular kind of printer size paper. So you wouldn't be able to necessarily put miniatures on here, but these are really good references to have back behind the Dungeon Master screen. Again, for if you were to run the adventure. So again, all of that player and Dungeon Master kind of handout artwork stuff, all located in this big file folder here. Lots of really cool stuff in here. Next up in the box set, we have this adventure. So this was an adventure written by Beadle Grimm that actually fits very well into the Turn of Fortune wheel adventure itself. I think it's really fun. I think it was very well written. And again, there's some information in here, some ideas in here that I could even use in my own campaign. It's a really cool addition. Something else that I'll mention is this box set doesn't have the Turn of Fortune's wheel. Lots of Beadle and Grimm box sets have the adventure broken up into different chapter booklets. This box set does not have that. So if you wanted to run Turn of Fortune's wheel, you would need to buy that separately to go along with this box set. So other than this adventure that they wrote, the actual adventure for the Planescape 2014 rule set is not included. Now, absolutely my favorite part of this is the maps. I love maps. Maps is like my favorite part of playing Dungeons and Dragons. And again, this is not going to come up well on video, but it's not just the quality of the art design itself, but the actual feel of this. This is on canvas paper. Obviously, this is one of the two maps that comes with the Planescape box set itself, whereas that's just printed on regular paper. This is kind of a canvasy material. Here we have the outlands. Again, this is beautiful. This is not something that I would frame. I have the other ones framed. This is something that I just want to just lay on the table, and like the smell of it alone, it smells like an old world map. And of course, along with the map of the Outlands, we also have the map of Sigil itself. Now, again, this is something that I like that they did was they printed both of these maps on two different parchments. So you can have both of them out at the same time, or if you did want to frame them on the wall, you could have each of them individually framed. Most of the releases within the books themselves are double-sided. So if you wanted to say mount it on the wall, like I do with most maps, you would have to decide on whether to mount the Sigil side or the Outland side. Here, it gives you the options for both. But again, awesome, very high quality maps. The feel, the smell, the art design, the look, very, very, very nice. And I'm really excited to break these out when the party gets back into Sigil next. Next up, we have lots of battle maps for the adventure. Now, these ones are double-sided, but I think that's fine because these are what you would want to put down during the campaign itself. You can see that it is hex-sized, and these are actually at the right size for minis themselves. So if you were to put this battle map down, the minis go on them. Again, lots of these battle maps are designed for the encounter in Turn of Fortune's wheel, but there are ways that you could use these in ways that I'm thinking of using them in my own home campaign. This map alone, we can see here on this side. Let me just get turned around. So this side of this map is just city streets in Sigil. Again, this would be good for the Turn of Fortune's wheel, but if my players are ever in a city encounter inside of Sigil, this would be a great map for them to use. So whether I'm running the adventure or not, my own homebrew campaign, or I mean, you could even use this as just a regular city. Again, very high quality artwork. It even says there's a guide here to say what the map itself is for where it is in the campaign. But again, it's all miniature size, so you can just plop it right down on the table, have the player characters put their minis right on it. Really cool stuff. All kind of different size maps depending on the specific location. And again, like you see a map like this and just think about all the different locations that you might be able to use it on the table. And finally, the last full-size map. Again, beautiful, beautiful artwork on this thing. Next, we get into some other material handouts for players. So here, this is a little pouch for Fortune's Wheel, which is the casino in the Turn of Fortune's Wheel. And inside the casino, it has some coins. So there's these three golden metal coins, as well as a silver metal coin. I actually already know how I'm going to use these in my campaign. I can use these as tokens to get through gates. So I'm really excited to hand these out to my players the next time that they are in Sigil. Now, the last thing that we see in this box set is we have these artwork panels, as well as the encounter card panels. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go over all of these here, but these are all really cool. They can kind of fold and go over top of the Dungeon Master screen. So here I have the Varghuli reflection. And on this side, if I put it over my Dungeon Master screen, my players can see what they are fighting. And then easy for me to reference, it has the stat blocks and some information about the monster on this side. I think that these are awesome. I'm actually surprised that Wizards of the Coast doesn't release more stuff like this for themselves. I know that they have like the monster stat cards, but I mean, as a dungeon master, I don't know how I would describe what the Eater of Knowledge looks like to the players. But if I was to plop down the Eater of Knowledge on my DM screen, then they get a great visual for it. And again, I get all the information right there. So again, this stuff is really awesome, really cool. Could be useful if you were to run these monsters in your own homebrew campaign. So there's tons of them here. It looks like there's maybe 30 or so of them here. And if there's any of these monsters I wanted to run in my own homebrew campaign, I might pull them out to get them ready. And then again, same thing with this artwork here. So on the inside, it gives some samples of what the art actually is, and they're tri-folded, so they go over top, or not tri-folded, bifolded, but they can go over top of the DM screen. So again, a really, really cool artwork, all designed for the Adventure Turn of Fortune's wheel, but you might see something, maybe there's some Modrons in your game, and you might want to throw this over top to give the player some idea of what Modrons look like. So yeah, really, really awesome artwork. Really cool stuff that you can throw over your DM screen. This is the Modron March. And so that's it. That is the Beadle Grimm Adventures in the Multiverse Planescape box set. I think that this stuff is great, all super high quality. If you are running the Turn of Fortune's wheel, everything in here is useful for being able to help run that adventure, both for the Dungeon Master side as well as cool things for the players. But even if you're not running Turn of Fortune's wheel, there's a lot of really cool stuff in here that you could use for any homebrew adventure that might take place in Planescape or in Sigil, the City of Doors. So highly recommend if you're a fan of Planescape or if you're running any campaigns in that adventure setting, this is a great addition for the collection. Now, if I had one wish list, one thing that I would want to see included in this that would make it 100% awesome would be a Dungeon Master screen. Now, it's not necessary. The Planescape box set already did come with a Dungeon Master screen, so if you bought the Planescape box set to get Turn of Fortune's wheel, you would already have this. And then also for my 2E Planescape, I do have the 2E Planescape Dungeon Master screen, so I actually already have 2 Dungeon Master screens for Planescape. So it's not like necessary. It's not like this is completely useless without one. I just think it would be really cool if there was like a Beadle Grimm specific Dungeon Master screen for this box set. I think that that would really pull it all together. And I'd love to see what they might do with something like that. Either the information they would include or the artwork that they might include. But other than that, I think it's a fantastic box set and definitely worth your money if you are looking to run an adventure in Planescape. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Kevbot. Get out there and go explore the planes.